At the Unintentionally Medical Supply Warehouse in Louisville, Kentucky, on July 3, 1984, Foreman Frank shows military drums of the poisonous chemical trioxin to new hire Freddie in an attempt to impress him. Because to a shipping error years ago, the drums ended up in the building's basement. Frank unintentionally releases the poisonous gas while striking the edge of a drum to demonstrate its security, which appears to melt the corpse within and bring back to life another corpse kept in a meat locker. Bert, their employer, joins them as they attempt to destroy the reanimated corpse by dismembering the body after failing to puncture the brain. They learn that each component of the zombie's body is capable of surviving on its own. Bert's friend Ernie has the zombie burned in a local morgue, but this unintentionally pollutes the air with the lethal gas, resulting in a poisonous rain that brings the corpses back to life in the neighboring cemetery. In the meantime, Spider, Trash, Chuck, Casey, Scuzz, Suicide, and Freddy's girlfriend Tina show up at the graveyard to wait for Freddy to get off work. Tina walks to the warehouse and wanders into the basement, where she finds the reanimated but terribly disfigured cadaver from the barrel that was thought to have melted, while Trash begins stripping and dancing on a gravestone. Suicide is slain, but the other members of the group arrive soon after and save her just in time. The party tries to get to Freddy through the cemetery after Casey realizes she saw him enter the morgue, but they are ambushed by the zombies that have returned. Chuck and Casey escape back to the warehouse after Trash is slain, but Spider, Tina, and Scuzz make it to the mortuary. When the three find Frank and Freddy becoming sick from the gas exposure, they summon paramedics, who claim that despite the men's consciousness, their tests show they are dead. Trash emerges from the chemical-laden mud with her body soaked in it, changed into a zombie, and starts to seek and eat. Bert and Ernie barricade the mortuary after learning that the dead are rising from their graves. The paramedics and police that arrive on the site are eaten by the zombies, and Scuzz is killed while defending the barricade. On the mortuary table, the group is able to restrain one of the zombies by grabbing her upper half. Eating the brains of the living helps relieve the pain of being dead, she explains, adding that the reanimated corpses can feel themselves decomposing. Bert locks Frank and Freddy in the chapel because they are exhibiting symptoms of becoming zombies themselves. Tina is with them when Freddy won't leave him. In order to save Tina from Freddy's imminent attempt to devour her, Bert, Ernie, and Spider reopen the chapel and use a potent chemical to blind Freddy. Despite his inability to control his thoughts, Frank escapes during the tumult and climbs into the cremator to end his life. In a police car, Bert and Spider escape the mortuary, but Bert is forced to abandon Ernie and Tina due to the numerous zombie forces, who are now under the command of Trash. While a blinded Freddy tries to break in, Ernie and Tina hide in the mortuary's attic. When Bert and Spider return to the warehouse, they discover Chuck and Casey. Bert tries to call the police when he renders the basement zombie, whom Spider calls Tarman, incapacitated, only to discover that they have been overwhelmed by the zombies and are being butchered. After that, Bert chooses to dial the number on the military drums, which connects to Colonel Glover, a military officer. On the morning of July 4th, after receiving word that the zombies have taken over the area, Glover orders nuclear artillery to destroy the settlement, so killing Bert and the other survivors. Following the nuclear attack on Louisville, Colonel Glover is heard informing his commanding officer that everything proceeded according to plan and that the outcomes were quite favorable. He claims that there were few casualties and that only a tiny area was devastated. The poisonous rain starts up again as he talks, and zombies can be heard yelling in their graves, signaling that the invasion is about to start over.